Welcome back to another edition of Higher Education Today. I'm your host, Stephen Roy Goodman. I'm here in Debrecen, Hungary, at the University of Debrecen. We're going to be speaking about precision agriculture. And we have two panels today. Our first panel is Csaba Bojtor, Árpád Illés, and Safwan Mohammed. Welcome to all of you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. Maybe, Csaba, if we could start with you. What is precision agriculture? You're a researcher, you teach here. What is it?
Thank you, Steve, for coming here. First, precision agriculture has two parts to define. First, the engineering part is when we can use precision tractors that we can work with the GPS navigation signals and we can work 2 centimeters of spatial accuracy. And another part, the agronomic part, is that we can put the data in the center. So we can have data from tractors, from any other sensors, from satellites, and from meteorological stations. And we can use this data in our decision-making process to compare to the traditional agriculture, make our decisions based on this kind of data.
And you might use that data to compare it to, let's say, something that happened 5 years ago, 2 months ago.
Sure, it is a real-time data management that we can use the historical data also, and we can use the actual data to predict some kind of working process in agriculture that the farmers can use to improve their farming system.
That's interesting in terms of the collection of the data. And I know you specialize in drone work. So when you collect the data, are you working on that from the drones or from the ground, or how are you getting all this information?
Thank you for your questions. Yes, nowadays in the precision agriculture, the UAVs is an increasing technology factor. Nowadays, we should use the UAVs. With the UAVs, and another name is drones, we can spray with chemicals, or we can detect any kind of plant health disease, for example. We can take photos from the field in different channels. For example, one of the most important channel for the detecting is the near infrared. And we can take photos in a basic RGB channel. And after, about this map, we can create a prescription map. And with this prescription map, we can treat the field instead of the whole area uniformly. So it's important things for the nowadays farmings to use the UAVs because it can reduce the overuse of the chemicals, for example.
That's interesting, but how would a small farmer deal with that? Because if a small farmer doesn't have that kind of equipment, what would they do?
Yes, it's a good question. So the UAVs is not the most expensive technology in the precision agriculture because all farmers can buy it and can use it because it's a cheap technology nowadays. But need to give advice to the farmers to use this technology because it's required the high quality remote sensing data analytics and any other kind of technology is required. For example, the RTK system. The RTK system is meaning the high accuracy GPS positioning system with a lower accuracy than the basic GPS technology. So we should advise and technology support for the farmers.
Interesting. And Safwan, so you came here from overseas. How are you involved in this kind of research as well?
Well, correct, Steve. Actually, I came originally from Syria. 2016, I applied for so-called Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. It's a scholarship supported by the Hungarian government 2017, I was accepted. Then I traveled from Syria, from conflict areas, here to Debrecen. I started my research. It was related to climate change and its impact to the agricultural system. Then after that, I involved in Corona time that we couldn't go to the field. So I involved more and more in the artificial intelligence and machine learning, how we can use this tool to advise farmers and to predict the future in terms of the production. Here, like we are talking about the long term, or forecasting for like, a short term, like could be maybe some hours to a few days. So it was an interesting journey. 2021, I was graduated, and I started working here at Debrecen University, where we started develop with my colleague many projects related to the using of the precision farming to do some kind of adaptation and mitigation with the climate change.
But that must be quite serious work, because if we know that the climate change is affecting the crops around the world, how do you take data that perhaps doesn't even apply anymore?
Yeah, really, it's very interesting question here when we are talking about the climate change. The climate is the main peril of the crop production and agricultural system all over the world. And here we can notice that the increasing of the temperature and the weather becoming more unpredictable. That makes the farming system is more costly. And in this case, we have to use all these technology that comes from sensors, from drones, and all other sources, for instance, satellite images and other parts. And we have to combine all this data, analyze it, and then we have like to do some kind of prediction. For instance, in this case, we have to tell farmer when and where to irrigate if we are analyzing some kind of farms. So that will save energy, also save water, and will help also farmers to react in terms of we have like extreme climate events. So when we are analyzing the climate data, especially we are doing some kind of prediction, especially forecasting for like few days. So in this case, we will have like an overview what's gonna be happening in few days. So we can advise farmers to irrigate in this specific date, and in this case we will not have any kind of drought impact in the crop production. This is not only implemented in Hungary, it's implemented in many parts of the world. For instance, in United States, Iowa State University, like they have like a map for Iowa, all soil data that they have. They collected like climate data, then they collected also satellite images, they analyze it, then they have a center, and finally they have a map. So if you are a farmer, just you go to this map and say, okay, this is my farm, and okay, now I can see like red zone or red color. So in this case, I have to intervene and irrigate my farm. So this is how we can use this data, and we can like translate all this kind of work to be an actionable plan for the farmer.
Well, that's really interesting, because the precision that you're talking about and that you're all talking about really seems to affect an individual farmer, but also society, because this would, I assume, affect the food supply as well.
Sure. As you may know, Hungarian farmers are very diverse. Hungary is an agricultural country. We have farmers with less than 1 hectare, and we have farmers with 10,000 of hectares. And they have different opportunities in terms of using the technology, and they have different tasks when we are talking about food supply chain. And of course, big farmers can use this advanced technology to reduce more their costs, to increase their efficiency with precision agricultural technology. And after this could benefit the entire society with healthier food, with healthier products from the field.
So if I understood what you're saying that this precision work is, of course, helping the farmers, but actually it also helps the individual consumer who's consuming the food, because they're more likely to now have food that's produced in a healthier way.
Sure. As we mentioned, the application of chemicals, chemical fertilizers and pesticides could be reduced due to the precision targeted position of these materials. And of course, with this kind of action in the precision agriculture, we can reduce any harmful damaging materials that can be found in fruits, in any products in the food market.
Interesting. And in terms of if we can get back to the climate change of this, so if certain fruits are growing in certain temperatures, wouldn't this mean that at some point we're going to have fewer fruits and vegetables from certain climates?
Well, that's correct actually. So, but here, like we are as a farmer and as a researcher, we change so-called the plantation window. So we have to adapt with this climate change and shifting of the climate temperature increase or shortage of the rainfall. So we have like many methods to adapt with that. So we changing the plantation time, or even we use like different hybrids that can adapt with this increasing of the climate, of the increasing of the temperature, or even we can adapt in terms of the implementation of the measure in the farm level. So we can implement some kind of irrigation systems, or even we can using precision agricultural technology, drone images, or even some kind of sensors surrounding the field, so we can know the soil moisture exactly how it is, and we know when we have to intervene and when we should irrigate this. So in terms of the climate change, yes, it impacts the production system and also the yield, but also we have to mitigate and adapt, and this is how researchers adapt to this point.
Interesting. You mentioned the drones. Let's get back to the drones. So how easy is it to just send a drone up and do this research? I'm assuming you just don't buy a drone from a local store and just send it up in the sky.
Yes, it's a good question. So first of all, we should learn something about the different softwares, because it's required to know to use these softwares. And after needed to take some license for the UAVs or the drones, and after the farmers can use this technology. And the biggest challenge in this technology analyzes the databases, because big databases generated by the UAVs, and after we should analyze it. The artificial intelligence can help to analyze these big databases and can help to make a decision about these databases to the farmers. For example, with this technology, we can reduce the footprint of the agricultural ecosystem. So it's a big advantage of this technology.
And is this technology used throughout Europe, or is it just Hungary, or is it just the United States, or is this used from farmers throughout the world?
No, it's all over the world. All farmers can use it and use it, because usually the European and the US farmer use it nowadays, but I think the university can help for the farmers to how can you use it and how can you adapt to the farm to use.
And we only have a few seconds left before we need to say goodbye, but is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you wanted to remind an audience who may be hearing the word precision agriculture for the first time?
So the main word that we have to adapt it to be like, we have to use this kind of technology to be able to cope with the climate change nowadays, especially if we are talking about the food security. The projection or the expected population will reach like 10 billion. So we have like to have more technology adopted in the farm to feed all this number of words. So I advise and I recommend and I invite all farmers to start learn about this new technology and get benefit from it.
Well, that's a great way to start this today's discussion. Thank you all for taking the time to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to continue the discussion in just a moment with the second panel from the University of Debrecen. We continue our discussion here about precision agriculture with our second panel. We've got Orsolya Jánosy, we've got László Stündl, and Ádám Hosszú, still all from the University of Debrecen in Hungary. If we can start with you. You work with the international office. Did you want to say a word or two about precision agriculture and perhaps how it fits into the university as a whole?
Well, precision agriculture is one of the most important programs of the Faculty of Agriculture. And if I have to say an introductory word about the importance of the Faculty of Agriculture in the University of Debrecen, it is one of the oldest faculties of the university with a longer history than 150 years. It is an agriculture region, and there are three focus areas of the University of Debrecen, research areas, which the one is medicine, pharmacy, the other one is the vehicle industry, automobile industry, and the third one is agriculture. And agriculture is probably the oldest research area in this field.
And this is, and you were alluding to this a second ago, this is an agricultural part of Hungary.
Yes, it is an agricultural part. That's why agricultural education is highly important in the region.
And can you give an overview a little bit of some of the other things in this region? What are some other things in this region that perhaps an American viewer may not necessarily be familiar with?
Yes, Debrecen is the second largest city in Hungary with an old tradition in higher education. Higher education started in 1538 in Debrecen. And the University of Debrecen is the largest higher education institutions in the country, with about 30,000 students, out of which about 25% are internationals, studying in the over 100 degree programs offered to them in English. So we have more than 100 running degree programs in English. Actually, all the 13 faculties offer English language programs to our international students.
Fair enough. And one of the faculties, László, you're the dean of one of the schools here.
Yes.
And so specifically, what do you do as the dean here?
Well, this faculty is responsible for education, research, and extension in agriculture and food. So the name of the faculty, Agriculture, Food and Environmental Management, reflects that we are conducting circular bioeconomy as it regards education and research. We try to develop well-trained engineers for the labor market to help our farmers to get more precise agriculture or sustainable agriculture or profitable agriculture. And the other part, we do research and extension to them, so improve their profit gaining ability. So we have a lot of work to do, at least this time of this climate change and environmental factors. So I think we do the best what we can.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw your picture coming into this room. You were a student here yourself.
Yes. Well, I started agriculture because I wanted to do fish and aquaculture. That was my hobby at that time, or my life when I was young. And I graduated here. I also did my PhD in aquaculture. So that's also an important part of agriculture, fish and water management.
And does precision, you heard the discussion we just had about precision agriculture, how does that affect fish?
Well, if you have to make water-saving technology or make very specific feed management to keep your fish healthy and to grow as fast as they can, maintaining the biodiversity at the same time in fish ponds. So it is a huge stress now because of the climate change, because of the hot summers and the oxygen problems in the water. So we have a lot of things to do and to take care of.
All right, Ádám, you are the youngest person in this panel, I believe.
Yeah.
So you're a current student. Why did you decide to come here? Why are you studying what you're studying? Maybe if you could say a word or two about what your path was to get here.
So I started this university at the IT faculty, but after 2 semesters, I felt like something was wrong. I did not like it. So I started browsing about other degrees, other majors, and I found this precision agriculture program, and I really liked it. So I made a decision, and I think it was the best decision of my life. I did not regret it. I spent a semester in the US, in the United States, South Dakota, and I really liked that experience.
And what did you do in South Dakota?
So we were at the South Dakota State University at the research program. We had the research group looked into how research is done in the US, and we discovered some new techniques and how farming is done in the US.
Well, that's interesting. I understand that there's a new program that you, and maybe László, you might be able to speak to this, that there's a new program between South Dakota State and the University of Debrecen.
Yeah, it's a double degree program. It means that if a student graduates from one university and spends one semester or 2 semesters at the other university, they issue a double degree diploma. So it was very important to us to open this international activity, and it was not an easy job to do with the United States because of the different educational system, law, regulations. We have another one with the Italian university, but that's European Union. That was not that difficult. But it took about 3 years, like tedious work, but we might finally succeeded, and we are very happy that we have this kind of double degree program.
Well, now that we're talking about double degree programs, from the international office, I'm assuming there are other double degree programs or other exchanges that the university has. Are there other American universities or Canadian universities that Debrecen has relationships with that might be helpful for viewers to think about?
Well, we have a few partner universities in the US, but not a double degree. We have just signed an MOU with Central Florida University. Also, we have partners within an exchange programs with Northern Michigan University or Ferry State University or Texas Christian University. We have a collaboration within the Fulbright. We receive Fulbrighters each year, 2, 3 per year, and we send our faculty members to the US by our bilateral partnerships. And there are some online courses offered to students, but it is the only double degree, as far as I know, with the US.
Fair enough. And in terms of to get back to precision agriculture, because I think this is just a fascinating term. I had never heard the term. Now, maybe I should have heard the term, but I had never heard the term. So is this a term that's widely used in the farming community, or is this now becoming a new term?
Well, it's like sustainability. It was like 10, 15 years ago, everybody was talking about sustainable agriculture, sustainable food production. Now, precision agriculture is that you know the processes, not just technical processes, not just computers and all big data, but also the biology of plants and animals. And if you go deep into that, you understand how they behave, how they react on any biotic or abiotic stress. And then you are able to equip these the plants and animals with the nutrients, with technology that would be fit best to the changing environment and make profitable production of healthy food.
So you do agree with the first panel that came on the show today when they were analyzing the importance of the big data for food production?
Absolutely. You need the data if you analyze it well, and that's why it's artificial intelligence is important. Do you know you can find out the tendencies and all those correlations between various factors that might be important, and just exclude those which are not. So it helps scientists a lot, and it will go very fast into practice, and it will also help farmers.
Well, this might be not a polite question, but what about the financing of this? Because that's got to be very expensive to have all this, to be able to kind of crunch all this information.
Yes. Well, we had good funding programs in the past 15 years from the European Union or from the Hungarian government. And now, because agriculture is a central issue, we also have funding programs for the farmers. And our task now to develop programs and these extension activities to transfer that knowledge to them as effective as we can.
When in talking about transferring the knowledge, what do you think you might do during summers, or where do you see your career going in terms of agriculture, using precision agriculture, if you know that?
So you need to know that I have nothing to do with agriculture before, so this was the first time that I got introduced to agriculture, and I think it's a good thing because the one enemy of precision agriculture is habits, that we used to do this way, we used to do this that way. So I have no knowledge of agriculture, so I know what to do precision, like what to do to make it good. And after I graduate, I want to have a farm, start a farm, so I can apply that knowledge that I learned at the university.
So if I hear what you're saying, because I think a lot of viewers are going to look at you and say, well, here's a student, and this young man, meaning you, could be my son, or or my cousin, or my nephew, and that you're learning this new thing. So you knew nothing about this, and now you jumped in and you said, well, this is an interesting subject. I'd like to learn more about it, and the university is giving you the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, basically everything that I need to know about agriculture, I can study it here. Everything from sowing, from planting to harvesting, I know every step that you need to do, but not in the only just in crops. I learned about animals and fish and everything, so I get the knowledge that I only need to use it now.
And László, if you were speaking to a group of Adams around the world, what subjects would you like them to study before they get to a university like this one to be able to take advantage of some of the work you're doing here?
Yeah, it's good that they have biological or background or some knowledge on plants and animals, some about the natural sciences, physics, mathematics, that's also important, informatics, information technology, that's also important. And they should have a good open-minded behavior and approach to food and life, because we also they take care of the nature around us. Nature conservation, wildlife management, water management, environmental management is also part of this agriculture education that we conduct. So open, natural, science-oriented person, that would be the best.
What about a city kid who is hearing this and watching this and saying, well, wow, I don't spend a lot of time in the countryside. What can a city kid do to prepare to come to a university like this one?
Well, just go around and take a look around the city. Go just take a walk in a park. Nature is around us and biology is surrounding us. I was born and raised in the second floor in a house of flats. We didn't have any small plots. I was not an agricultural family. It was a foreign trade family where I'm originated from. So, but if you have a love for what you do, nature, by animals, plants, horticulture, whatever, you will find the best place in this faculty.
And if I can expand that out, so a student coming from a city who might come to Debrecen, what are other related subjects they might be able to do here?
Besides studying? No, we have a very vivid intercultural community at UD campuses. We have over 7,000 international students studying at the university in the degree programs, and they come from 140 countries of the world. So the whole world is invited to come to Debrecen. Actually, it's a very safe and peaceful city, I would say, although it's the second largest, but still like 200 kilometers from the capital, Budapest. We have an airport, so they can go and travel around Europe if they wish to in their free time. Just enjoy the city because it's nice and green, and it's a very good environment to concentrate on the studies, but to go on excursions and to see Europe as such.
Well, fair enough. Thank you all for taking the time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you'd like additional information about the university, please go to unideb.hu. If you would like to send a note to me at the show, please go ahead and do so by sending an email to highereducationtoday@topcolleges.com. And thank you for watching. We will continue to bring you quality discussions about important matters in today's college and university world. I'm Stephen Roy Goodman, and you've been watching Higher Education Today.